Here we go. I think. Yeah, we're started. Oh, T.
Monday.
Why does everything sound weird?
Nah.
No? Does it sound okay to you?
Sure.
Something sounds weird. God damn it. Anyway, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show with Mike and T-Roy. Hello, T.
Hey, buddy.
How are you, pal?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, doing okay? Had a good weekend?
I did, I suppose. Yeah, not bad. Nothing to complain about. Got my stitches out.
Yeah, let me see your Vagine hand. How's it looking? Yeah, it's
Under a
still
Band-Aid.
swollen pretty good.
Yes, it's definitely swollen.
Did you ask the doctor about the whole slow reflex thing you were having?
Yes. I'm having some finger issues. Oh, that is even better now.
Oh, my God, dude. It's starting to look like my dad's finger. And he's talked about amputating.
Well, it's still so swollen.
Yeah.
That we don't know. The
It's
fact
swollen
that
as shit, dude.
the fact that it's nothing happened before we stitched it up. So at this point, we got to go back in if there's a problem anyway. I mean,
Oh, yeah, like you didn't have
we didn't do it
surgery.
like while it was open or anything. We go in there before we stitched it up.
Right,
So
right.
if there's an issue, but we won't know for sure until the swelling goes down. If
Yeah.
that's what's causing it or
Boy,
not.
oh, boy,
So,
that's good 12 days out, right? 10 days out?
yeah, more than 2 weeks.
mean,
Yeah,
it's like-
it was 2 weeks ago today that I did it.
Was it
Monday. Yeah, it was Monday night after the show.
Was that 2 weeks ago? So how long did you have the stitches in? I thought they were in a week. Were they in 10 days?
No,
12
yeah,
days?
it was 11 days when I got them taken out. It was
Wow.
supposed to be 10 to 14 days.
For those that can't see it, he's got like a golf ball, it looks like, between the thumb and index finger. Jesus, dude, that is really swollen still.
Yeah.
Does it hurt like hell? Or not really? Or
A little tender.
how was work? I mean, you use your hands. I can't imagine that felt great.
I banged it a few times today.
Of course. Anybody who's ever had a scratch, the smallest of nick or anything, it's the only thing, you tend to bullseye it every time you do anything. You can't grab a dinner plate without somehow banging the one injured spot you have on your body. I don't care where it is.
But overall, I'm fantastic.
Yeah, doing all right. It wasn't
Yeah.
too bad. All right, well, that's good. You had a decent weekend?
I did. Did I do anything?
Yeah, you went to a movie. You weren't here. I never saw you.
Well, that we told all the Patreon members that. I'm not
Yeah, well, I had a little
wasting it on these.
I had a little problem. I wanted to post that in members content. I know some people love when they wake up Monday morning and it's there because there's not a new episode since Thursday until we do one, like now, which is kind of late in the day.
Yeah, most
So I
people don't get it till Tuesday.
I do like, if possible, to drop that thing at like 3 a.m. on Sunday.
It's like Christmas morning.
Yeah, so that those people that are our most valuable listeners of all, the members, have that sitting there waiting for them. So I went to load it this morning when I got up, actually, because I had some trouble with it. But I got the file edited and blah, 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 and it wouldn't take. And I was like, what is going on now? And so finally, later this afternoon, I was like, fuck it. I'm starting from scratch. I'm taking the stick out. I'm reloading the whole damn thing, posting it. Excuse me. And it finally took. So I apologize, guys. You should have had that members content first thing this morning and whatever. But anyways, those people that are listening now and are not members don't give a shit. So they don't even know what they missed, which was T's wonderful breakdown of The Sound of Freedom, which I improperly edited to The Sound of Silence.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, I was having my Sound of Silence. I was having a Garfunkel, who's the other dipshit?
Simon?
Simon. Yeah, I was having a Simon and Garfunkel moment.
Seemed
I
like more of a
guess.
Simon than a Garfunkel to me.
Yeah. Garfunkel's a little too weird for me. I thought Garfunkel was really tall, and it turns out he's like my height, but Simon is just a fucking wee.
Tiny guy.
He's an absolute wee, but, Garfunkel towers over Simon. And you would think, oh, God, this guy's like 6'5", and the other guy's
picked the perfect
5'11".
partner.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was 5'7", 5'11" with fro.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, hope the rest of you had a good weekend as we kick off a new week. Got an exciting week. Dave Landau is in town this coming weekend.
That's right. It's
We're
Landau
gonna go.
week.
It's Landau week. We're gonna go Thursday.
These last 2 weeks fucked me up.
Why?
Not working.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was like a black hole in time. Like all of a
Dude,
sudden I couldn't remember. I'm like, oh my God, all this stuff is this week. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how? Wait. Oh shit, it's August. Basically.
Yeah. whenever I go on vacation, and this was all through my career at Riff and now even coming back from even a week off, right? You take 5 days off or whatever and coming back, it's always like that uncomfortable first day of school coming out of summer to me. Start of a new grade. It's the weirdest feeling. So yeah, I was bummed when you went back to work. Like last night, I was like, do you have to go back to work? It's kind of nice having tea up, staying up late, watching movies.
Oh,
playing poker till midnight. I mean, it's
supplement my income somehow.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Yeah, it's great having tea around the house late night instead of going to bed at 9. So, but yeah, you got to go back. I think you could have milked that for another week, dude, with the swelling you've got going on.
My doctor absolutely would have. I joked around with him a little bit, and he was like, okay,
what's the problem?
What do you want me to put? I was like, no, I'll go back.
Really?
Yeah, it's okay. Because I can.
Yeah, I know, but, it's still injured. It doesn't take, I know, you don't give a shit, but, you're already the walking wounded.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom, I'm tired of it. Don't walk in front of her anymore. It breaks her heart. She's like, Troy's such an athletic guy, such a good-looking guy, and to see him limping like he does at his age, she wants to do something.
All right, fix it. Get on it, Pat.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I don't know what the hell she's going to do. I'm like,
Get on it, Miyagi.
She's Pat Miyagi. Pat Morita is not Pat Walters.
Okay.
So there's nothing she can do except, you just feel bad for T.
Well, send your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, she's sending tapas galore, but she wants everyone to be healthy and strong. And it's strong character, though. The fact that you're like, yeah, I could milk this for another week. Probably even 2.
I could have for sure got 2 weeks out of it.
Yeah, but you're a good guy.
Ironically, because I'm taking Friday off, too. So I could have milked it for a week, got a full week's pay. But I don't get full pay for what I'm getting either. So
yeah, but you're supplementing it with the poker. So
I did pretty good with the pokers. That helped.
Hell yeah, you were having some good nights in there.
Indeed,
kicking people's teeth in. I appreciate it.
And
sorry,
Chuck.
Oh, he's a good dude too. Doesn't mean you shouldn't absolutely rob him blind.
He has 100% kicked my dick in plenty of times.
Oh, I know.
I think I'm just getting some of mine back.
Oh, the listeners don't know Chuck. Chuck goes back to the old college days. Yeah. He's a good dude. Good.
He's my RA in college.
Yeah. He did a bang up job. Really kept you in line. Kept you on the straight and narrow.
Nice that we're still friends, though.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. It's probably best to go back to work because the fact is we never know when our number's going to be called. Our time's up, And unfortunately, we learned this afternoon, I see a name pop up on Twitter. I see a name pop up anywhere, and it's like, and it's just cliche to be like, oh, whew, thank God so-and-so's still alive. But we lost the great Pee Wee Herman today.
Tragic? Is that the word?
Sure.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
He had a bit of a fall from grace.
I'd say.
There.
Triumphant comeback, though, in Blow.
Yeah.
He's great in Blow.
He was, indeed. Yeah.
As Derek, I believe.
Oh, that does sound right. Yeah, I think that's right. Nice call. Good
call. I can't believe I just pulled that out of nowhere, but,
Yeah. You were looking stuff up all day.
Yeah. No, I actually didn't look. I just remember him from Blow, and it's like, Paul Rubens has a much bigger range than you would think from the Pee Wee character.
You know what's funny is that when I heard that, I was thinking back, and it was Blow is what I was thinking of, right? But all I was picturing was fucking Balky in A True Romance.
Oh yeah,
right?
Or Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah,
Little Lemon Twist.
No, it was Pure Romance. True Romance, not Pure Romance.
Yeah,
True Romance.
What is his name? Brana. Something
Bronson? No.
Bronson, yeah.
Something Bronson?
Yeah, I think it is.
Not Pierce Bronson?
No, it's not Pierce Bronson, but Bronson something.
Pinchot. Bronson Pinchot.
Yes.
Look at that. We're just killing it.
Who just fucking texted you with that?
Boom, boom.
Who's live listening and texted to you? Right?
Nobody's that quick.
Bronson Pinchot.
Yeah.
It was Balky, which should destroy your career. Perfect Strangers?
Perfect Strangers. God, I almost said Bosom Buddies, but that's Hanks.
Yeah.
And the other guy that never
that
worked
was
again.
Bronson Pinchot and the other guy. Perfect Strangers. Yeah, but that should be one of those like Urkel characters.
Yeah.
It's the dork from Saved by the Bell. You never work again.
Screech.
You define yourself as that, and then you're done. It almost took the Fonz out.
Almost.
You know, the Fonz has made a triumphant comeback with the Dynamite show, Barry. On HBO. Right. He's great in that.
He is great.
But, you know, and he's like theater trained thespian type himself, but you never know from once you end up on lunchboxes, it's over.
It's over.
You're not going to be.
There's no coming back from that. Usually,
no, you're not winning an Oscar. Yeah. Let's put it that way.
And old Hank had a pretty good gap in there.
Oh yeah.
From Happy Days to Barry. I mean, I'm sure he's worked in between, but not anything we know. Some bit parts here and there.
No.
But
and Pee-wee's one of those when it becomes like a cultural phenom.
Yeah.
And then you sprinkle in a dabble of child porn accusations and jerking off in a theater. You know, like that kind of takes it down a notch too.
It was a porn theater, though, wasn't it?
It was.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Isn't that the whole point of it?
I don't know anyone that doesn't. In fact, that guy should get side-eyed. You know, get a stink eye from other patrons.
What are you doing in here if you're not jerking off?
Why is your dick not out? Right. What are you, a cop?
Weirdo?
Yeah, Fed. Get out of here, you narc.
Exactly.
I mean, first off, do chicks ever go to those things?
I don't know, but if you do, I'd like to know it.
Yeah. Right? I mean, can you imagine going in there and there's some hot chick sitting there in the third row?
Just rocking the little man.
Just fucking
beating it.
Yeah. Taking that little man in the canoe and just giving him
something tells me that would not go well. She would just be surrounded.
Yeah,
nobody would be watching the screen.
It would turn into a bukkake scene. Let's be honest.
Sure.
Like every guy would, try his long shot.
I'm pretty sure I've seen those porns, by the way. That they start out that way.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Strangers in the theater.
No. Okay. Yeah. That I have not seen that premise.
You're too busy.
But,
you're too busy with toilet seat porn.
Yeah, fucking necklace. Yeah, fucking choke on it, gag on it. I love them. How do you feel about this? So Mr. Herman, Mr. Rubens.
Yeah. Love his sandwich.
Big fan of the Reuben. Yeah, it's good. Paul Rubens. So he's 70 years old, passed away last night. How do you feel about the secret cancer diagnosis?
Completely fine and respect it. That if you're going through it and you don't want to go public with it just because you at one point in your life were a public figure and you want to handle this privately, I have all the respect in the world for that.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think that's
100%.
fair.
Yeah.
You know, we saw this recently with Norm Macdonald too.
And
same type of thing where it's like we didn't really have a chance to say goodbye. I mean, you did, but after the fact that it's like, oh yeah, he's been secretly battling cancer for a while, and you know, I don't know if that's.
No, and I mean,
you have every right to be selfish if you. It's not even that just be with family
to be
and
private about it. To you know, and somebody like Pee Wee, I could see almost. I don't know him personally. I can't speak to him, but using that as an opportunity to sort of one last hurrah. You know what I mean? To get back into the headlines, to be able to get some acknowledgement, to get some notoriety, some publicity,
which he didn't
some
need.
level. Well, he didn't need, but he also didn't have.
Right.
So. I don't know, but I respect the fact that he didn't. He just chose to do it silently, privately.
Yeah,
and you know me, I respect the privacy.
Yeah, 100% you do. You have, even when we were 16 years old, you were the same way. Nothing has changed. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either. I totally get something. You know, it sounds like he had it for 6 years.
Okay.
And battled that by himself, kept it a secret. He did write a note that was posted after his death by his family. That's kind of ballsy. That's kind of badass.
Yeah.
To have something written that is like, when the day comes, you post this on my social media.
Yeah. I mean, when you're fighting that and you know you're losing, you know the day is coming.
Yeah.
And you know, if you have the opportunity when you have all your faculties,
right.
You know, that to be able to do something like that, to write a statement so that it's not in somebody else's words, that you control your own fate on some level.
And as morbid as it is to say, there is something sort of, if you're looking for a tiny silver lining in bad news, like knowing that that's coming, and it's not like, well, maybe it's in 10 years or 30 years or 50 years, but knowing, you know what, my time's coming relatively short, if I'm terminal. Whereas if you have a horrible accident, you die suddenly, you didn't have that moment that you thought.
Yep.
You know, I imagine most people are caught off guard.
You're not.
Families are completely caught off guard.
Yeah, you have no closure. You don't. You leave a lot of loose ends.
Yeah.
You know.
And you certainly don't mean to stick family with
No, but
shit, but it's
it's-
just the reality.
If it's an instant death, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
You have no choice.
Right.
You know, I mean, you can get your house in order before that happens.
Yeah, but most people probably, unless you're...
I'm not talking about, a written statement of, hey, this is for when I do die, hopefully at some point,
But for someone
eventually.
like Pee Wee, it's like he's had 6 years to make peace with this, to have closure conversations with family members or friends that maybe had fallen out. He had, I want my kids. I don't know if he was married or had kids. I don't know. But, I want this friend to have this. This is really important. This was something that meant a lot to me. I want so-and-so. Like, you would think you would get a chance to plan that stuff out, having 6 years to kind of we've done everything we can do. There's really nothing more
I can
you
only
can do.
imagine what that emotional roller coaster is like, let alone physical. But you know, to get it and want to fight it and beat it, and maybe you do, and maybe it comes back, and maybe this, and it's got to be exhausting on every level. I mean, physically, it takes everything out of you. Chemo is a motherfucker. You know? I
remember when my dad got diagnosed first with kidney cancer, which is, a death sentence, they say. And it had spread. It's a miracle that dude's still here doing as well as he is 13 years later. I mean, they did not give him 13 years. But, I remember hearing he had that conversation because his dad was still alive. His dad died at 90. And so it was like something to the effect of, I go quick, you have to promise me you'll take care of Pat and, whatever the kids need, blah, blah. Even though we were adults, essentially, at the time. My sister might have been in college, but it was, like, very important to him to have that conversation, like, And then he's lived all these years, so it hasn't mattered.
Right.
But,
when I lost my dad, it was instant, So it didn't have any closure, didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Now he was 88, so we'd had the conversation,
right?
Before we talked about, gave me a list of all of his information, all of his accounts, all the things, so I had at least that, but that was boom, instant, done.
Yeah.
And then having my uncle when he passed, recently, it was the opposite. It was
Hospice
long, slow, drawn out to where mentally he was there, but his body was shutting down.
Right.
And so they had all this time to get his affairs in order, to have closure, to spend time with his family, all of his, people come in and stay with him and visit and all that. I don't know what's better. I don't know what's worse.
I was going to ask you, but it almost sounds...
And he specifically said at one point, sitting in there, he said, I wish I would have just gone like Don.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here dying as fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, he did it right. He just fucking, was done with it. But as a family member, as a child, as a loved one, I don't know. I don't know what's worse, to just lose them instantly, or just to watch them die, but to be able to have those conversations, to be able to make peace with it on some level before it happens. I don't have an answer. There is no answer, really.
I'm certain it depends on how someone goes. Like, you can go through hospice and be comfortable, and
it's comfort care now.
Is that what it is now? They don't call it hospice anymore? Well, when I was in Arizona for an extended period of time when the pandemic started, is when the warden's, for lack of a better term, father was dying. And I say that not because he was not her biological father, but her family was such pieces of shit and so awful. The stories are horrific. But this guy was someone that actually cared about this young girl growing up. And so she regarded him like any of us do our dads and adored him, Uncle Dan. And, he was bigger than you. Dude's like 6'5", right? And when I left, he was maybe 85 pounds. And on a 6'5" frame, 85 pounds looks sort of silly. Yeah. It doesn't look right. And I'd met him a bunch, and nice guy. And, to see someone go through that for months and months, and it's like, you're almost hoping, it's like, no, just
suffering.
Put this out of its misery.
Yeah. You just want to stand there with a pillow, just like, I love you. Go to sleep.
Yeah, it's time. You've served your purpose.
You fought hard enough.
Yep.
It's time.
Yeah.
And it comes in all shapes and sizes of death.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I do respect that Pee Wee chose to do this privately, especially people that, in Hollywood that tend to just be, and maybe that's part of it too, that they, their ego doesn't want them to appear weak, frail, and they don't want to, they don't want the photos of them out there. They don't want paparazzi
lost
out there,
hair
all
and,
that stuff. So maybe it is egotistical to do it that way on some level.
Well, I think what he wrote was pretty cool. He wrote, "Please accept my apology for not going public with what I've been facing the last 6 years." So he's acknowledging, there's a couple ways I could have done this. I chose this one. Forgive me for it. I have always felt a huge amount of love and respect from my friends, fans, and supporters. I have loved you all so much, enjoyed making art for you. And then his account posted his estate, but through his X account, I guess, Twitter account.
It is now. Is it still called Twitter, but that's just the new logo?
It's like the Redskins to me.
Yeah, right.
I think it's just going to be Twitter. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm old school. I'm an OG.
Dead name until we die.
Yeah. Last night we said farewell to Paul Rubens, an iconic American actor.
Bit of a stretch, but okay.
It's family.
I mean,
family.
Yeah.
They can say that.
Listen, there's a lot of people that grew up on Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Fuck yeah. An iconic American actor, comedian, writer, and producer whose beloved character, Pee Wee Herman, delighted generations of children and adults with his positivity, whimsy, and belief in the importance of kindness. Paul bravely and privately fought cancer for years with his trademark tenacity and wit, a gifted and prolific talent. He will forever live in the comedy pantheon and in our hearts as a treasured friend and man of remarkable character and generosity of spirit.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Sure. It's a statement.
It is a statement.
Yep.
I did not know that, they're going to start throwing facts at you, and then the usual onslaught of celebrities acting like Pee Wee Herman was the greatest thespian to ever grace theater or anything else. Yeah. Pee Wee Herman was created with Phil Hartman.
Really?
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. He was on the show.
He was. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had always heard...
I didn't know they created it, but it makes sense. I mean...
Well, Pee Wee was part of the Groundlings in 78, 79, something like that. And this character came out of there. Apparently what Pee Wee was trying to do was, the idea was a guy who really wanted to be a comic, but couldn't write a joke or perform it on stage, and the audience was fully aware that he was never going to make it.
Okay.
Was kind of the idea behind Pee Wee Herman as a character. Now, I had heard... I've seen documentaries. I absolutely remember watching them on this, where those Groundling kids or whatever that were working at that time with Pee Wee say he stole that. That was kind of a character they had all worked on some level. Now, Pee Wee took it and did it. I can't imagine you could do that with any other person but Paul Rubens. Well, I mean, it works so well. Maybe if we were introduced to it.
Yeah, I mean, whoever did it would own it.
Yeah.
Whoever you saw it would own it. So
yeah.
You can't picture it now with anybody else, but you could picture it with whoever did it.
Right.
So
maybe.
I mean, I don't know if Mr. T could pull it off necessarily, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I couldn't see The Rock doing it, but, Pee Wee Herman, it's like the suit, the everything. Those movies, those movies are fucking great, man.
They're pretty good.
And wasn't that basically a for adult show masquerading as a kid's show, especially originally?
I gotta tell you, I didn't watch a lot of the Playhouse.
Me either.
I remember there was a chair.
Yep.
I do remember, and I wouldn't have known Phil Hartman was on there until you just said it. And it popped into my head.
Dude, I forgot, and I had written down that
as soon as you said it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember Phil Hartman being on there.
Yeah, as soon as you said it, I remembered that too. I don't know why, but
other than that, like I didn't watch it much. It didn't mean a whole lot to me. So
no.
But the movie was
Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
One. Yeah, right. And it was
amazing.
Yeah, tell Marge sent you. But in that sad, that's what we remember is another chick's line.
Yeah, well, I tequila in the bar. Like if you watch, there's probably a lot there. Even the opening scene where he's pouring a bowl of cereal, but it's got to go through the whole contraption.
Nope.
that like dominoes fall down, that knocks over the ball, that brings up a string, that rings a bell, that drops something, a little fucking
Doesn't ring a bell.
anvil. Yeah,
I mean, I get what you mean, but I don't remember the scene.
And his bicycle,
Yeah, I
like
remember
the
the bike.
whole thing, and the chick, and his fat buddy. Like it was a great movie. I loved that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I remember Big Top Pee-wee that much, which came out in '88.
Sequel.
Yeah,
Like most sequels, they don't live up to the hype.
yeah.
Wasn't that fat guy his buddy, like sort of that iconic fat buddy guy?
Yeah, he was in Teen Wolf or something.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't
Was it
he?
the same guy that was in? I can
Yeah,
picture him. I have no
Scott
idea what his name is or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say he was in Teen Wolf, which I gave another spin to a few months back.
Well, I saw you do Teen Wolf 2,
Okay, maybe that was it.
which was with
Brutal.
Bateman.
Yeah, and I think it was him that. I think it was the fat guy from Pee Wee's Playhouse
All right.
that was in that. That's what I'm remembering. Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough day.
I can't believe you spent 2 hours on that.
I don't think I did. I think I picked it up mid whatever. So he had Pee Wee's Big Adventure in '85, which was a huge hit, and then he had Big Top Pee Wee in '88, and during that time he had Pee Wee's Playhouse, which ran from '86 to '91, which wouldn't have.
Found it.
Audience has no idea what you're talking about. That's okay. That's all right.
That one's just for us.
Hey, that's great.
Let's bring it
That's
right
great.
down there.
There you go.
We got it.
Nice work. Pee Wee's Playhouse. So we're starting high school at this point. So it wouldn't have been really in our wheelhouse. I remember
What year was the show?
86 to 91.
Okay, that's
So we were too old for it.
Yeah. Like I remember it, but I was like never into it. Yeah.
He all but retired Pee Wee in 91. I don't know if I'd say retired so much as not a giant appetite for that after his indecent exposure at a Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah, that shut it
adult
right down.
movie theater.
Yeah.
Which I'm with you, dude. He's in an adult movie theater. He wasn't at just a normal.
He didn't
movie
George
theater.
Michael it,
No.
right?
No.
No. He was where you're supposed to be doing it. I think. Who narked on him, by the way? They get raided? What happened?
I
I'd like
don't
to know the
know.
situation, the story. I mean,
He was detained by a detective after leaving the theater. So what, did he come on someone or something? Like what the hell? Like what do you think's going on in the adult theater?
Yeah, I don't know.
They're playing porno on the big screen.
Yeah.
Like you don't
Like
think
you're supposed to
everybody's
just
in there?
watch it? Like, what's the point?
Yeah. Just sit there and blue ball yourself to death over and over
Really
for
into the
2 hours.
storylines.
I imagine.
It's like reading the articles in Playboy.
Yeah. I imagine anyone sitting in a porn theater, it's like at some point, starting about 5 minutes from the start, people start getting up and leaving.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Done.
Like, yeah, all right, well, pick this up tomorrow and come back and, start 6 minutes in. Isn't that usually how that goes? He was subject to ridicule in the following months. I would say years. In fact, probably the remainder of his life, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Blow did wonders for him, really.
On some level, somebody gave him a shot.
Yeah.
But
I look at it like Travolta, dude. Travolta was a joke in a lot of circles until Quentin Tarantino put him in Pulp Fiction.
That's right.
And absolutely put him back on the map.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, and he's killed it since then.
Yeah.
I mean, killed it.
Killed it. What was he in? Wasn't he in some movie where he had angel wings or something? And then
He's been in a
Michael?
million things.
Was that called Michael,
Something,
maybe?
Probably. But
Yeah.
If that's the one you want to pull, sure.
yeah, but I mean, it was like, I'm trying to think of anything else he did past Grease or Saturday Night Fever, and I never saw either
Oh,
of
I
them.
was thinking Michael was after Pulp Fiction. Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the point being, it was like, it took balls, I think, by Quentin Tarantino to put someone like that in a movie. I would think the same thing of Paul Rubens, throwing him into a very serious, while funny,
Yep.
at times, movie like Blow. I mean, that was a major blockbuster with Johnny Depp.
Yeah, big time.
You know what I mean? And very well received. The soundtrack, second to none. I mean, it was, what's his name made that movie? Blow. It's one of the big dogs.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Toys R Us removed Pee Wee toys from its stores as a result of his arrest.
Oh, the shame.
Yeah. He denied the charges, pled no contest, was made to complete 75 hours of community service. Again,
wouldn't-
for what?
I wouldn't say he retired it. Apparently, there's a Pee Wee's Big Holiday in 2016.
Oh, that he did bring it back for that in 2016. You're right.
Yep.
Yep. Was that a movie or was that like a half-hour special or something? Does it say?
I think it's a movie. I'm assuming that's a movie.
Yeah, that could be. So wait a minute.
Like it did looks like it did a ton of voice work. Like he was pretty active, but it's all like cartoon shit.
I don't mean to be dickish or a stickler here.
Okay.
But I really need to understand, not that I ever want to do it myself, but I think I'm misunderstanding what the rules are in an adult film theater. I thought the whole point was to go in there and jack off in the dark.
I think, I mean, technically, no, right? I think it's always one of those wink, wink, type situations.
Really?
Well, because you're technically still in public. So you can't technically
Isn't that private property?
Jerking your dick. I don't know. Okay. I'm just speaking,
Yeah.
But I always assumed that was like, yeah, of course you can't go in there and beat off, but go in there and beat off.
Yeah.
I
mean, obviously they don't want you coming all over their cloth
But as far as
seats,
by the letter of the law and the legality of it, and who knows? Maybe this fucking detective just had a boner, hated Pee Wee Herman, and had a fucking thing out for him.
Wanted to make a name
ruin
for
his
himself.
career. Yeah, who knows?
He got 75 hours community service.
Oh, that's slap on the penis.
He was probably there 5 minutes. He should have gotten 5 minutes community service.
Walk in, give him a walk out.
Then there was a 2002 police raid on Pee Wee's house, led to child porn charge, later reduced to possession of obscenity. I remember that one.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, Pee Wee, you already got caught
exactly.
jerking your little ding-a-ling in a movie theater. Now you forgot child porn.
Right. Maybe that was part of the investigation. They were following him into the porn theater.
Well, he claimed, and I don't know if this is a legit argument. I'm sure these people are out there. He claimed that he was an erotica collector, had a stash films and magazines, as well as a sizable collection of mostly homosexual vintage erotica.
Okay. What? And there just happened to slide a couple of kitty ones in there or something?
I guess. But
it was charged was lowered, so maybe there wasn't, maybe there was. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember Jin got in trouble. I think I've talked about it before, and I call him out every time I see him.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, big fella! It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday.
But Jin got busted for essentially child porn on TikTok.
I mean, he didn't get charged or anything.
No, he didn't get charged, but he did sort of. I mean, they kicked him right out of that account for a week.
Okay.
He posted a picture of his topless 2-year-old daughter jumping on the bed as both kids were jumping on the bed, but she happened to be in her little nighttime panties and no shirt. Mm-hmm. Wow, she was fucking 2, man. Come on.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, the Paul Rubens of the world are going to get rock hard over this.
I can't believe that. I'm looking at his IMDb, and they just give a star rating up to 10 stars on things.
Yeah. For like what, a performance or a movie
I
itself?
think it's the movie itself,
Yeah.
Or whatever. But Blow's not even anywhere near the top of the stuff that he's been on.
What is?
I mean, Phineas and Ferb, Portlandia, things like this are way. Robot Chicken's higher.
Yeah, everything you've named, I know of.
Right? Gotham, he was in Gotham.
Really? Mm-hmm. I've watched quite a bit of Gotham. I don't remember Paul Rubens in it, unless he comes later in the...
who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
But...
is that a illogical thing, though, an erotica collector? So if you have a painting of a naked 5-year-old boy,
if you have a
sounds creepy as shit.
If you have a porn stash, you're an erotica collector. If you have a stack of fucking nudie magazines, you're an erotica collector.
Yeah, but I imagine someone like him has velvet paintings or something of nude people. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, if he just said, yeah, I have a subscription to Playgirl magazine. They're mostly homoerotic. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, whatever, okay. Lots of people probably do. This makes it sound like he's some sort of collector of art. And I thought I remember...
That was his statement. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no. He said that he claimed he was an erotica collector.
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of weirdo fucking Hollywood people are the same.
Sure, maybe. I mean... And whatever.
Not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying it is what it is. Sure. That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. But again, those are his words. He's not like, an acclaimed erotica collector or anything. This was just his words.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a bunch of Michelangelo's early work of nude children.
Yeah, I got caught with kitty porn, but I'm an erotica collector.
Okay. Yeah, that could be. I have this weird, vague image the whole time we're talking about this of people carrying like framed paintings covered from inside his house. That's why I kind of have that thought in my head. Like,
Oh,
it wasn't just,
it doesn't.
he's got a couple Polaroids of nude children from around the block.
Right.
And
Well,
that counts as, oh, yeah, I'm an erotica collector.
Yeah. Well, if you have a painting of a nude child,
Yeah, it seems creepy and weird, but
sure does.
But if someone just painted it, like I paint things sometimes, not nude children, but
Thankfully.
yeah, agreed. But if I was a really good portrait painter and I painted, my nephew Marshall, with his flowing locks and everything, and then I just put a tiny dingus on him, bag, wrinkled bag on a 5-year-old, like, would that make me? I mean, outside of the obvious, weird as shit.
Yep.
Would it make me? Have I done something illegal?
Boy, I don't know. I mean, it's a gray area for sure.
Yeah.
It's a line I wouldn't want to.
No.
Want to flirt with. I know
Me
that.
either.
Yeah.
Me either. But, by the way, as if the story ends there, he did plead guilty to an obscenity charge in 2004. He was required to register his address with the sheriff's office. The arrow is pointing down at this point.
An obscenity.
Yeah.
Register for an obscenity charge.
So I don't know if this is the same. It's worded kind of weird. 2002, they raid his house, leads to a child porn charge that was reduced to possession of obscenity. He claimed he was an erotica collection and had a stash of films and magazines, as well as a sizable collection of mostly homosexual vintage erotica.
Okay.
For the next 3 years, after he pleaded guilty to the obscenity charge in 2004, he was required to register his address with the sheriff's office.
Yeah,
okay, I fucked up that.
Yeah.
sentence.
Okay. There you go.
That makes more sense.
Now it makes way more sense. Yeah. It's still from the same thing.
Yeah.
It's basically as a sex offender.
Yeah.
But we're gonna Paul. Listen. I loved Pee Wee, so
Yeah.
we're gonna just go ahead and knock this down to an obscenity.
Yeah.
You go ahead and register. 3 years, we're gonna have this thing go away.
And
okay,
by the
buddy?
way, you're not allowed to be in at all in the company of minors without the permission of their parent or legal guardian.
Yeah, that's
so
never a good thing.
No,
that's just
no.
never a good thing.
that would be a really embarrassing day at the district attorney's office or in front of the judge when they're like,
Yeah.
you know that thing where sometimes you wave at kids in the park? Yeah, you can't even do that anymore.
So is this?
You can't go to a play place and with your nephew. You can't. Unless you get permission slips.
Is this the
from all
Kobe
parents.
situation again, where everything just gets overlooked because he was great at basketball? Like,
Yeah.
Pee Wee was just so beloved that now that he's gone, we're just going to ignore everything else and be like, oh, he was misunderstood. He was a genius.
Probably on some level. I actually thought about Kobe Bryant because I was not going to do what most people are going to do today, and neither were you. About like, oh yeah, we're just going to act like this was an instrumental part of our childhood, Pee Wee's Playhouse, and I mean, it's going to go down in theater history as one of the greatest films ever. Pee Wee's Big Adventure is dynamite. It was different from anything else.
Right, unique, exactly.
Very, very unique and creative and funny as shit. It was all those things and packaged in this character that was great.
Yeah.
But no. I'm not interested in going to, Kobe dropped 60 on his last game. Yeah, he also raped a broad in California. So
Allegedly.
Yep. He sort of admitted it.
He settled.
He did,
Paid
and
her
then
off.
he also
There
said,
were no
"Well,
charges. Charges were dropped.
Yeah,
Let's be
but he
clear about that.
wasn't his quote something to the effect of, I got to pay more attention when they say no or something like that, or like he said something
along those
like,
lines.
yeah, maybe I read it wrong or something, and
Well,
maybe I need to do a better job.
We've both been guilty of that ourselves, so
Sure.
be very careful with your words.
Yeah, but I didn't
point.
stick it in some chick's ass and.
Potato. I mean, let's not
Okay.
get caught up on, who did what
Fair
where.
enough. Fair enough. We're not here to pass judgment on anyone,
Right.
are we, T?
Right. There was no fucking criminal charges. I know that.
Yeah. There, but for the grace of God.
Yes, but it did cost him $2.5 million.
Jimmy Kimmel did say Paul Rubens was like no one else. I think that's true.
I think everybody's like no one else.
Yeah. A brilliant, original comedian who made kids and their parents laugh at the same time.
Yeah, and kids come.
Wait, by the way, yeah. He never forgot a birthday. That's kind of cool. Those people that are out there that never forget a birthday. A lot easier now with Facebook and stuff. But, in Pee Wee's world, if that's true, by
You
the
do whatever you got
way,
to do to stay relevant.
Didn't-
when you're in exile,
what's that?
you do whatever you have to do to stay relevant when you're in exile.
Yeah, like remembering Jimmy Kimmel's birthday every year. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be. I could have sworn
Who
President
knows?
Biden.
And maybe he remembered whoever directed Blow's birthday every year for a while. I was like, you know what? That Paul,
Yeah. Special.
let's. What do you think, man? Should we just bring him back in here? Come
Yeah.
on. He sends me a birthday card every year.
Every year, man.
Without fail.
Didn't Biden just claim I thought he cured cancer. Just the other day he said that he cured cancer and now he's moving on to dementia.
I didn't know that part.
So yeah, Biden said that publicly on a microphone.
Wow.
That he cured cancer and now he's moving on to dementia.
He's going to cure dementia?
Yeah. It's his
Spell
next
it.
thing.
Spell it.
So I don't know. I thought cancer was a thing of the past. It was like, polio. Polio anymore.
D-I-M ice cream.
Yeah. Trump, Russia, Putin. So.
Okay, well, hey, rest in pieces there, Paul.
Yeah.
I'm not too shook up about it, but I generally am not.
Will you watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure for old time's
I
sakes?
would, yes, I would. I'd revisit that for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go down any Pee-wee's Playhouse episodes or anything.
No.
And if I did, it's because I want to go back and see some little Phil Hartman.
Yeah,
Because
Phil was
I
great,
tell you
man.
what, I miss fucking Phil Hartman.
Yeah,
of all those
brutal
guys,
death,
Phil
too.
was one of my favorites. Man.
Yeah,
he really
crazy
was.
bitch wife shoots him in bed. Ugh. Yeah, he was awesome.
He was.
He was special. And when you talk about Gone Too Soon,
That's
that dude's been in Soon way too long, and he got
Indeed.
there way too early.
indeed.
No doubt about it.
Hey, insurance. We all need it, and most of us don't know what kind of coverage we have or who even provides it. Let fellow TDC listener Brent Wasick from Wasick Insurance Services change that. Brent has over 30 years in the business and offers all types of insurance coverage. Auto, home, health, life, business, commercial, and more. So call Brent Wasick at 734-455-1900 and get a free no-obligation quote today. Again, that's 734-455-1900 and ask for Brent Wasick at Wasick Insurance.
Mbappe.
Bop. Bop. Do, 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 do. I'm sorry, Mbappe?
Yeah, Kylian Mbappe.
Why? Are you speaking English? right
Yeah,
now?
yeah. Soccer player. Excuse me, football.
Oh,
Football player.
okay.
He refuses talks with the Saudi Arabia club who have offered him $1 billion for one season.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, because they lost out on Ronaldo, right? Or
Yeah.
is that Ronaldo? Or,
200 million. Well, you've got Ronaldo went somewhere,
Went
and
somewhere
so
who
did
just-
Lionel Messi.
yeah, who just went to Miami? That's Ronaldo, right?
That's Lionel Messi.
Oh, that's Messi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe.
I could care less about the
Oh,
beautiful game.
I
So,
couldn't care less either.
Yeah,
Not
I
at
can't.
all. But
That's Messi. Okay.
so I could go through the details of this. So there's like a transfer fee. So if
Yeah, it's not-
he's under contract, so there's like a $300 million transfer fee that these Saudis want to pay to this guy's former club, PSG, Paris Saint-Germain,
Okay.
PSG. Forward Kylian Mbappe. The team is Al Hilal.
Well,
So it's like 700 plus million in salary for 1 year.
yeah.
He's 24 years old.
Okay.
And apparently the talks have shut down. It would be $332 million transfer fee and a contract for him. But, my brother and I have been talking about this and about what's going on with this Saudi takeover.
Yep.
And
the Live Tour
right.
was where it started.
So far, they've gone after Formula One, they've gone after golf,
Yep.
they're going after tennis hard, boxing. So these are individual sports. You're talking about individual guys who can go, but you saw what it did and just how quickly it did it to the PGA.
Yeah, they caved. Like,
They came in and stole the PGA, essentially. And I was reading this article. Shit, I wish I would have written his name down. A writer from The Atlantic. I'm sorry. I'd like to give him credit. But they're saying the Saudi, his point is the Saudi golf takeover is blueprint for what they want to do everywhere else. And I think his last line in this article is the truest one. While you might not give a shit about golf or about a boxer now, at some point they're going to get to something you do give a shit about.
yeah, right.
And that scares the shit out of me. Now, you can be sinister in your thoughts or cynical and think, what they're trying to destroy America. And part of me goes, well, maybe it's just about making money. Maybe it's just a business decision. But if a subplot there is that we destroy America's entertainment culture and sporting culture that they've fostered for over 100, 200 years, if we can destroy that in the process, so be it. What would it take to destroy the NFL, in your opinion?
Oh boy, I would have said nothing. Like it's bulletproof on some level.
I would have too.
I would have thought that.
Yeah.
Now, if you take into account the XFL, USFL shit that's going on, I mean, as far as that, this should be, not quite NFL, but semi-pro level ball, above college football, right? I mean, college football. I love. It's not as clean, it's not perfect, but that's what makes college football college football. They're still kids.
Yeah.
But this should have been a polished enough product that it carried some weight, and it didn't, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
So, if they were able to put something together, somehow intervene like they did in the golf, where they can poach some premium players for money, period, end of story. Especially, see, the NFL is one of those things where, like, there's a few guys that make a shit ton of money. There's a lot of guys that don't.
Right.
And you have a very small, short window of your career to make that money. And you have no real good long-term benefits on the back end of this.
Look what it did when Steve Ballmer came in and bought the Clippers, right? And he overpaid by a lot. He wanted an NBA franchise. He had the money to do it, and he paid $2 billion for him. And you look at that and you go, wow, that's crazy. Their valuations now is probably $4 billion. He's probably doubled his money since he bought that franchise. You think of what Jerry Buss paid for the Lakers, where they threw in fucking
a sandwich.
Yeah, in the tens of millions, and they gave him the stadium parking lot and acres of land in LA. Like, think about that. That if the Clippers are worth $4 billion, the Lakers are worth $20 billion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, so when you think of Jerry Jones and the pittance he paid for the Cowboys, so what do you think the value of the Detroit Lions is? Is every NFL franchise $4 billion, $5 billion minimum? Probably.
No, I mean, it's not that far off. But
I bet they all are.
There's definitely a premium on some compared to the others.
Oh,
I don't know what an
course.
NBA team compared to an NFL team compared to a baseball
In this
team
country,
means.
I think the NFL is the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
They're the top dog. But so how this relates to Saudi, and I don't know how this goes, but what that did for the NBA, every one of those teams became way more valuable when Steve Ballmer paid twice.
Detroit Lions, $3.05 billion.
Yeah, it says until it goes up for sale. So that had to be accepted throughout the league ownership about a new owner coming in.
Paid $4.5 million in 1964.
Yeah.
4.5 million. It's now worth $3 billion.
Yeah, and I would say it's worth double that.
I mean,
it's an NFL franchise.
It's worth whatever
it's a
somebody's
license
to
to print.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know the Fords will ever get rid of that.
So what do you do? And I know it may sound laughable now, but if the owners see the money that is being transferred upward to ownership of NBA franchises based simply on Steve Ballmer, that takes a valued team at $900 million and pays $2 billion for it, and now it's worth $4 and $5 billion, all of their franchises went up in value then too. Well, if the Clippers are worth that, then our three-time champion blah, blah, blahs are worth X. You can see that argument. So the NFL, while they don't allow foreign interests now to come in and just buy their way into the league, what do you do? Honestly.
6.44 for the Lakers.
Billion?
Billion.
Yeah, bullshit.
I mean,
if the Clippers are 4, and I don't know what the Clippers are. I'm just throwing a number.
Exactly. I'm just going by this.
Yeah, and I would say if the Lakers went up for sale, there'd be a bidding war, and you get well over 10.
Probably.
But when you talk about say the Saudis came in and said, because you could go one of two routes. You go, we're going to take the Ronaldos of the NFL, and we're going to go cherry pick, we're going to take Patrick Mahomes and offer him $1 billion a season.
Yep.
Now, Patrick Mahomes can go, I make $60 million a year, and I thought it was a big shit. And I risk my safety and my future. I can take care of the next 10 generations of my family for one season in Saudi Arabia.
I could blow out my knee tomorrow
Yeah.
and never make a dime.
Yeah. So if you think that's not possible.
That's exactly what I was saying, is that if they
Right.
if they have the
And
ability
who
to
would
come in and poach that, and all of a sudden you end up with a subpar product.
Yeah.
Like the XFL or the
And
USFL.
the guys will follow. G and I this is what we were talking about because they're going to want to face the best. I said to G, if I gave you a list of 6 players, 6, that you could take off their NFL rosters right now across the entire 32 teams, take 6, and you could ruin that league, I bet our fucking 6 would be about the same, right?
Pretty close, yeah.
You take the 6 best quarterbacks in the AFC alone.
Right them out there, yeah.
Right? You take Allen out of Buffalo, you take Mahomes out of Kansas City.
Burrow.
You take Joe Burrow out of Cincinnati. You take the young kid in Jacksonville. You take
I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is quite
Trevor
there.
Lawrence. He's gonna be there. That kid's the real deal. And you take what's his name out of Los Angeles, not Stafford, but
Herbert.
Herbert. You start grabbing guys like that, and all of a sudden your league is fucking toast.
Yeah.
What do you do if the Saudis come in and go, okay, the valuation of the Lions is what, $3 billion, he said? $3.06 billion or something like that? What if the Saudi government comes in or the Saudi business, oil-rich people come in and say, we're buying the Detroit Lions, and Sheila Hamp says, the fuck you are, and they say $60 billion. They have nearly $1 trillion in their fund right now.
Yeah.
They could pay $60 billion for the Lions. What do you do then?
Well, don't I think every league has oversight on those things. It's not just personal decision. Like it has to be approved.
Right.
It has to go through the proper
That's why I brought up Ballmer, though.
Yeah.
Because those guys...
But he just overpaid. But there was nothing diabolical.
But it brought up the value of all their other
I
franchises.
understand that, but my point is that they allowed that sale. They don't have to allow the sale to the Saudis. They can block that type of thing.
But the same type of thing, I think, could be potentially on the table.
But they don't have to buy a franchise to do it.
No, they don't. But I'm just saying one way you could is to go, fuck it. We'll take the whole franchise for $60 billion.
Just like a league. They can start their own league over there. Say, listen, we're doing 6 teams. We want the best of the best to play in these 6 teams. It's going to be this, that, and that. You're going to make $1 billion a year, whatever it is. People are going to be like, cool.
Yeah.
Bye. In 3 years, I'm done.
And no one cares if you take the Phil Mickelsons and pay them gobs of money. Phil Mickelson's career's over. It's Justin Thomases you got to worry about. It's not the Aaron Rodgers. It's the Patrick Mahomes.
Mickelson was important for them for validity.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
Because if they just had these other guys, but then they got the DeChambos and the Brooks Koepkas and the guys like that went, that were at the top of their game, the Dustin Johnsons, who was the number 1 player in the world for a long time, going to that. And, that, like I said, if Phil doesn't go, I don't know that any of those guys go.
Maybe.
Which
is why you throw $200 million at it.
Phil to get everybody
Do you realize Phil's career earnings don't equal $200 million?
No, so I said, we looked it up at the time. Yeah. He made more in that day than he's made in his entire fucking Hall of Fame career combined.
Yeah.
Probably damn near with endorsements.
Yeah. Oh, and endorsements probably paid him even more. But my point,
up till this point, like with his endorsements till now.
Right. My point about the Lions and having someone come in and throw $60 billion, because if you maybe it turns into Deshaun Watson where it's like, no, that's an outlier. You overpaid so much for him and gave him such an egregious deal that
doesn't set the standard.
That doesn't set the standard. Right. And maybe that holds true for something like that. Say they come in, and I'm literally throwing darts at a wall on numbers. $60 billion for the Detroit Lions. I'm trying to think of a number that you just couldn't turn down, and no one could blame you for.
When you start talking
my point,
billions,
let me finish the one point. If the Lions are worth $60 billion, what are the fucking New England Patriots worth? What are the Cowboys worth? You know what I mean?
But they're not worth $60 billion. They're worth whatever somebody's going to pay for it.
Right.
Is one thing. But money's not everything. most of everything, but it's not everything. Well, no, I mean, like I said, there's some sort of checks and balances in place to where all the owners have to agree on things.
Right.
There's some owner can't just go rogue and sell their team to the Saudis for $100 billion. They can't just do it on their own. They can't just arbitrarily make that decision.
Okay, then we pluck individual players to make it happen.
Maybe
because those are just dominoes falling until the whole thing collapses.
They didn't buy the PGA. They bought the players.
But then it turned into they bought the PGA.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they strong-armed them into it.
Right.
But
so it's tomato again.
Yeah.
Where, okay, fine, you won't sell us a franchise for $60 billion. The owners won't sign off, and then we're taking Patrick Mahomes and we're taking fucking Joe Burrow.
But I mean, these guys
year
also
for $1 billion each.
But they also have to agree and go. I mean, whether they do, whether they don't, I don't know. I mean, there's guys.
Could you blame any of them if you paid $1 billion? And that's not a crazy number. They're offering this soccer player $1 billion fucking dollars for 1 year, and they assume he'd go play 24 in Saudi Arabia and then go to Manchester in 25.
Yeah.
Like he'd literally go there for a year and take $1 billion.
But that's like overpaying.
Insane.
That's like overpaying for Phil, because that's giving you credibility. That's getting that name of whatever that is. I assume Bop is a fucking legit, and that he's worth that money. That he's a Messi or a Ronaldo type player.
Okay,
to where
how
he's
about
that
this,
good.
then?
I mean, they're not just taking a fucking backup guy and doing that. He
How
has
about
to be
this?
one of the premier players.
Every player on a rookie contract that are making a fucking pittance could potentially end their career. You come in with the argument, there's no rookie deal here. You're a first-round pick. We're going to pay you $50 million to come over here for 3 years right now.
Yeah.
Sets your whole family up for generations. Or you can pay for, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year if you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
Running backs. Any running back in the NFL would run. They're making less than kickers.
Yes, it is. They
would run.
Right. This is a horrible time for running backs.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not saying that it can't happen. Yeah, I think there's definitely some possibility of it being there. I think, and I don't know what happens. The way the PGA caved so fast. I was so disappointed in that. And again, I still don't know all the fucking details in that. I haven't looked into it, so that's my own fault. But it just doesn't make sense. Like, they were sustaining. They must. They just threw enough money at him.
Let me read you part of this article. It might change your view a little bit.
It's not just a partnership.
No. Make no mistake about it.
No, it was a
the
takeover.
Saudis took over PGA Golf. Period. End of story. Let me read you this article and see how you feel.
Basically, strong arm and said, "Listen, we're just going to keep doing this until you have nothing but a fucking minor league amateur fucking product on your hand. So we can either keep doing this."
These guys are going to stand up patriotic and salute their flag for what, a year, two, before they go, "This is absurd. I'm making maybe $20,000 a weekend, and these guys are making hundreds of millions of dollars."
I mean, it's such a slap in the dick for all the guys that didn't go, that stood their ground, the Justin Thomases of the world, the Rory McIlroys of the world, that didn't go, that steadfast and said, "Nope, I don't disagree with it. I'm not doing it. I'm not selling out for the money." Those guys were blackballed. They were banned from the PGA. They'd never be able to play on the league. I mean, the majors were
6 months later.
Yeah, they all come back with fucking Costanza wallets in their back pocket.
Yeah, they're Scrooge McDuck, every one of them.
Now they're all right back on the same playing field, except those guys all have $1 billion.
Yeah. Yeah. Who feels like a chump now?
Because not only what they got for signing, I mean, those guys all got real money for signing just to go.
Yeah.
And then the money they paid out on that tour was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
And they all got a piece of it.
And they all got a piece. There was no cut. Everybody got paid. Last place was $100,000, $200,000 or more.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean,
was it really? I don't know what it was.
It was a lot. Yeah. I mean, because first place was like $2 million. And then there was a, like they have in the golf for the points thing, whatever the fuck it is now or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the year, the champion, because I think Dustin Johnson won it. And he was so far ahead going into the last three tournaments, he had already locked in that $2 million bonus or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He made so much money, it's insane.
So let me read part of this article. Now, this article goes back a month or so, I believe, from The Atlantic, and I'll read you some of it. I thought it was interesting. I think maybe you guys will find it interesting as well. We'll hope. It doesn't matter if you don't like golf. You don't have to harbor a shred of affection for the PGA Tour. The finer details of how the new shared enterprise will work and what becomes of the beloved Milton Sewage Solutions Open at Grundle Pines should not overly detain us. The wider significance here is in the concussive speed and devastating lack of transparency with which the transaction was conducted. The way intractable obstacles were simply bulldozed or bought away. The utter indifference to public opinion, outcry, backlash. This may be the story of how Saudi Arabia bought golf, but really it's a blueprint for what they want to do with everything else. There remain a couple of curiously prevalent misconceptions when it comes to Saudi's investment in golf. The first is that it is all simply part of an elaborate public relations exercise, a sanitization of its image, an attempt to deflect attention away from human rights abuses, treatment of women, LGBT people, its brutal justice system, its role in a ruinous war in Yemen. But the extreme secrecy of the LIV PGA Tour deal exposes the fact that it knows exactly what people think of it. The circle of trust was deliberately kept as small as possible. Even most of the PGA Tour board had no idea what was happening. Does this strike you as the behavior of a regime concerned with winning hearts and minds? The brazenness, the wall of silence, the smoke and mirrors, the decision to present this deal to the world is all part of the performance. It says to the world, we bone-sawed a journalist, we bought golf, and you didn't even know anything was happening. Mm-hmm. The second misconception is that the PGA's surrender is no more than a money grab, when it's clearly so many other things as well. Monahan may not be the most trusted guy in the room right now, but when he tells people the PGA Tour cannot compete with a foreign government with unlimited money, he's simply stating a bald truth. The litigation and inflated purses required to compete with LIV Golf were threatening to emaciate the organization piece by piece. Monahan knew this, so did the Saudis. Mm-hmm. Reckon your favorite sport would put up any more fight? Soccer is already being bent towards the gravity of Saudi money with the takeover of Newcastle United, the purchase of major stars, Ronaldo, Karim Benzema, and a few other people we've never heard of. The International Cricket Council has signed a major partnership with Aramco, and there are persistent rumors of a lucrative Saudi 20 league in the future. Tennis is quite frankly a sitting target. Formula One, boxing, too late, lads. The NBA recently changed its rules to allow sovereign wealth funds to buy into its franchises, although Adam Silver recognizes Saudi investment is a two-edged sword, which is nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Well, thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
But let's make sure we change the rules just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
The more tectonic shift, however, is less about individual sports and about the very idea of what sport is. Since its earliest days, organized sport has been conceived as its own end. The Olympic gold medal, the World Cup final, the Ashes urn, the season ticket at your local club, these things have an intrinsic worth, not as an auxiliary to a greater goal. But when entire clubs, entire competitions, entire sports are being repackaged as investment vehicles, advertising boards, weapons of geopolitical power, then it's fair to wonder whether a turning point has been reached. The tragic paradox is that for the most part, the people who care about sports do not own it, and the people who own it do not seem to care for it at all. It is of no consequence to Saudi Arabia whether or not you like golf. Eventually, it will find the thing you do like, and your views will be of no interest to them. No, they will not be taking questions. No, you will not be kept up to date on progress. As ever, you will find out what's happening whenever it decides you need to know. Terrifying, man.
It is. It's probably exactly why I don't know too much about it, because they're not saying a whole lot about it.
Yeah,
they're not proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just a random fucking the last LIV event.
Yeah,
won by Taylor Gooch. Fucking great name. No Y in Taylor. Taylor, by the way.
Really? Yeah. Does he have a line above the A?
Nope, just Taylor Gooch.
Wow.
The fucking Gooch.
That's fake. That's got to be fake, right?
First place, what do you think he won?
$2 million.
$4 million.
Holy shit. Where was this played? Was this in Europe somewhere or something?
No, I mean, most of those tournaments were here. I'd have to go back and see where this one was.
I know they were mostly here and in Europe.
That's the thing they were saying, like, oh, who's going to play in Saudi Arabia? Well,
God,
no, they weren't.
The
They
CW
weren't
gave
there.
them a purse that big?
Yeah, right. So second place, DeChambeau, 2.25.
For second place.
Third place, Koepka, 1.5 million.
Jesus.
And it goes down. Last place, and I was going through, I was surprised by I did all the names. Last place, $120,000.
Yeah, you were right on the money.
Last fucking
Yeah,
place.
you said it was 1 to 200,000.
Right. Chase Koepka, Charles Howell, Harold
Chase
Varnell
Koepka Brooks'
III.
brother?
Yeah, it is. Graham McDowell, Charles Schwartzel, Martin Kamer, Bubba Watson, Henrik Stenson, Brandon Grace, Lee Westwood, Kevin Na, Mark Leishman, Phil Mickelson, Louis Oosthuizen, Brendan Steele. I mean, these are Paul Casey. And these are a lot. This is like the meat, Cam Smith, Ian Poulter,
Yeah.
Joaquin
You're
Neiman,
getting into real players.
Cameron
now.
Tringali, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, Jason Kokrak, Brooks Koepka, DeChambeau. Like this is like the meat and potatoes. This is like taking the all-stars out of there. There's a few guys that held back.
You've got premier guys in there, though.
Yep.
You've got the future of golf.
Exactly. And they got youth there. Right. I mean, it'd be one thing if you took the...
Which is what I'm talking about with rookie deals.
Right.
Like, oh, the NFL is going to make you cap out for 5 years. They own your rights, and they're paying you no more than $1 million a year. How about we take that and make it 20x and pay you $20 million a year, Jahmyr Gibbs?
Just hijack the next NFL draft.
Yeah.
Just go in there and be like, everybody, okay.
The USFL went bankrupt, but if you have a bottomless pit like the Saudi government,
right,
dude, their personal investment fund, the PIF, I believe was at $80 billion a decade ago.
Yep.
And now it's up over $800 billion, trending towards $1 trillion. So when you're talking about that kind of money and constant money coming in, you don't need to make money off these guys right away. You can be so disruptive. And if a side benefit, they could say whatever they want, and people will not be as skeptical as I am. But I think there's a lot to, and we can absolutely destroy anything that Americans give a shit about.
Yeah, we can buy a piece of it for life.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We can just buy our way into it. And I'm hoping that while the PGA caved like a bitch on this, that
did they, or did Monahan just see the writing on the wall that, dude, there's no way around this when you've got foreign money from a government? Think about a government entity.
I understand.
Think about how much we spend militarily in this country. If you took all that money and just went and bought soccer franchises all over the world, like that's what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, I guess it does, right. I mean, to these guys, while it became this whole political thing, crimes against humanity and all the shit, how could you sleep at night, taking that money?
Well, Messi's wife wouldn't let him go to Saudi.
Well,
I mean, that's why he's in Miami.
I mean, there's probably more to that than that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And I mean, part of that deal was that he gets a franchise, going forward. So I don't know that it's just that, and maybe she didn't.
And he's one of the goats, though.
Of course,
it doesn't have.
Did she want to live in Saudi and be a woman in Saudi?
No.
Fuck no.
No.
Who would?
For $1 billion? Just keep sending the checks home, honey. I'm not going to
you
go there
live
and watch
here.
your
Who
games.
gives a shit? You stay there.
I'm staying in L.A., so.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at some point, because again, these guys they're playing golf. They're getting paid to play golf. Who gives a shit who's paying them? Whoever's going to pay them the most is where I'm going to play golf.
Yeah.
Right? Where my opportunity is. This way I can guarantee the money. You're talking about the running backs or whatever. An example is Isaiah Pacheco, was a seventh-round rookie, drafted.
Good luck, Isaiah.
Yeah. But he's drafted in the seventh round, I think it was, out of
Kansas City Chief. Made great contributions to them all year last
rookie
year.
last year, took over, earned the starting job, and now he's their number one back, going forward. Well, he's on a rookie deal. He signed a 4-year, $3.7 million contract.
So with he's making less than $1 million a year.
With a $79,000 bonus. His average salary is $934,000 a year.
Minus half for taxes.
Right. And then you have a 5th-year option on that you can put onto this. So this guy is going to make, for the next 5 years, they own this guy. Well, the next 4 years going forward.
Right.
And they're going to pay him less than $1 million a year.
Yeah.
That's why there's this whole turn in the NFL right now of all these guys coming up for their second contracts. I mean, he's going to be done By the time he goes to
running backs don't last 5 years.
Right. When he comes into free
don't.
agency, when it comes time for that second contract,
He doesn't get a big one.
He doesn't
No
get
one's
it.
paying
Nobody's
a
gonna
28-year-old
pay him.
running back more than a couple of years.
the Zekes, across the board, there's so many teams out there.
The Cowboys did it
Dalvin
with Zeke.
Cook.
Remember all the people acting like it was a racist thing? Wow, Jerry Jones, Zeke, it's racist. They should pay him, blah, blah, blah. And he finally did. He pulled out the wallet.
I was going to say, I thought Tony Pollard was black too. My bad. The other running back?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, every running back?
Of your team. Yeah, every running back besides McCaffrey in the league. No, but they ended up paying him. We mean it. We're making an investment. And what happened? He doesn't even start anymore.
Yeah.
Is he even a Cowboy anymore? Do they
No,
dump
he's
him?
gone. He's cut. Yeah, there's a huge stockpile of running backs right now that are just not on a roster.
Yeah.
I mean, big names that you would know that are still theoretically in their prime, but approaching that. I mean, 30's been the death number for running backs forever. At 30, it's done. It's over. Nobody. You don't.
And it's not negotiable.
No, you can't fight time. But the example I have with Pacheco here is the way they're doing this shit now. It started a little while back where you got your quarterback under his rookie deal and you built a team around him. Well, now they're starting to do it with the running backs too, where they're just using these guys and throwing them away.
Yeah,
because he's 24 years old now. He's got 4 years left.
Dude.
He's 28 when he reaches free agency. Nobody's ever going to pay him. This guy is going to fucking never get paid.
And ruin his legs.
You know what I mean? He's never going to get paid. The guy's going to make fucking $4 million in his career.
Yeah.
And be done.
Yeah. What do you do? He's stuck there.
What did Herbert just signed? What, a $600 million deal? The quarterback.
Yeah.
$600 million, and this guy's is 4.
Yeah.
For your starting running back.
For 4 years.
Right.
He's making less than $1 million a year.
Yeah.
It's absurd. The NFL was brilliant the way they did this when they
changed the rookie deals.
When they changed rookie deals to you cap out, which I loved on paper. It's great because there's too many guys that enter the league and it doesn't transition, and it's like, fuck, not only did we blow a first-round pick on this guy, now he sucks. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit.
Do you think the 4-year rookie with a 5th-year option is too long for these contracts?
For a running back, especially.
But I mean, why not for anybody? I mean, you got to make sure that they pan out. But I mean, maybe it should be a 3-year deal, a two with a 2-year deal.
Here's what I would say, Troy. When you're talking about a running back, it's the one position outside of punter and kicker in the NFL that can make an immediate impact day one. They can come in and change your roster immediately. Quarterbacks, you don't even know what you have until year 3, usually. Now, there are outliers. There are like, holy shit guys.
Yep.
But for the most part, it might take a guy 3 years before he figures out how not to get his dick kicked in every time he drops back.
Yep.
And some of the greatest Hall of Famers ever went through that horrible period. Not running backs. There's not a running back in the league that eats dick. Well, I guess you could say Mostert was one of those that bounced around for a few years, but very few of them. Usually those guys can come in. It's like, I can hit a hole anywhere. I know what an A gap is.
Mostert wasn't a high draft pick, like
no, but he was on 8
guy.
teams before the Niners and then the Dolphins. Like he kicked around practice squads for years. I don't know how a guy with that kind of speed kicks around practice squads because he's like 28 now.
Right.
It's over. Yeah. It's going to be, if it's not over right now, it's over soon.
So, I mean, to
that's
wrap
a
this
horror
back
story,
up,
Pacheco.
It is, exactly. So how could you blame a guy like this? This guy knows that he is fucked for his career. You can sit out. You can try and, hold out and renegotiate your contract, but you're not anywhere. Maybe in a year, 2 years, you might be able to. But at that point, I mean, you're going to do this for $1 million a year, and which seems fucking ludicrous for me to even say, like, oh my God, why would you do that for $1 million a year?
Yeah.
I'd suck dick for $1 million a year. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking insane that we're even saying this.
Yeah.
But why would a guy like this? Why would a guy like this stay in the position that he's in, knowing the position that he's in? If the Saudis or somebody, whatever it is going to come in and go, we'll guarantee you $20 million a year.
Yeah.
To come in, whatever.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Right.
And you understand
you'll make
that
more next year than you're going to make in your entire career based on this.
Yeah. And
this
guy, the same thing with young golfers when you're looking at them going, I haven't made but one cut all season. I've made 20 fucking grand. I'm funding myself trying to scrap my way into this league.
But do those guys have a place on the fucking Live Tour?
Maybe.
I mean,
eventually you do. You want to fill that shit out. Probably depends how much growth they want.
We were just they got what, it was like 40-something guys.
Yeah, and maybe that's all they want. Just take the 40 best American players or
right.
European players. And
that's all they do. I mean,
the
PGA is at the cuts top 50 in ties. So that's all that gets paid anyway.
Yeah.
So there, you start out with 120 guys golfing, but only the top 50 in ties carry on to the weekend. So there's 70 guys out there that don't get paid.
Yeah.
So they're just cutting the fat. Yep. They're just taking, okay, fine. So these guys make 70% of the cuts.
Yeah.
Whatever. There's guys that have off weeks. It happens. I mean, you guys missed the cut for fucking Justin Thomas missed the cut at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. One of the best golfers in the world.
Yeah. It happens every week.
Right.
Every week you're shocked at some of the guys.
But in the course of a season, that's fine. If there is no cut, fine. You're just going to come in last this week and you're going to make $120,000.
Yeah.
Plus the $50 million we gave you for coming over.
Right.
So we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Absolutely. Who wouldn't take it?
So
the NFL, it shows the level of greed humans have for their self-preservation too.
Mm-hmm.
Because what the rookie deal, it's brilliant. Because it's like if you're already here and we're having this discussion together, you're already past that, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're not affected by this. This is next year's incoming class. It affects them. They don't have a say because they're just trying to make it into the league.
Right.
You could pay them a penny, and they'd be like, well, fuck it, I guess I got to pay.
Isaiah
play for a
Pacheco,
penny.
a fucking running back out of Rutgers, was just grateful to be drafted and playing in the league, right?
Yeah.
But not understanding that you're basically getting used. I've argued for years that the contract, that pay, well, whether you want to put somebody under a term contract is one thing, but all pay, basically all pay, should be incentive based, performance based, and you should get paid. You should get a menial salary, whatever it is to play throughout the year, okay. Mm-hmm. And just enough that you live, you survive,
you're
fine.
In sports, entertainment, or are you talking about
sports.
life?
I'm talking sports.
Sports,
yes.
okay.
In that at the end of that year, you get paid based on X. How you performed, how you did. There's variables as far as if you get hurt, there's things like that. Okay, but a guy that's just not performing, let's just say, right? Like
Javon Kinlaw.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say
do it more local, but yeah.
Well, I was going to say the dickhead shortstop we got for the Tigers.
Oh, Juan
Baez. Baez. He absolutely eating a dick. I mean, like if you look at the statistics, they threw a ton of money at this guy to come in. He was a high, targeted free agent when he came in, and I mean, literally not making the team numbers.
Yeah.
Like should be cut numbers.
Yeah.
It's so atrocious.
Like last in the league statistical categories.
In a lot of those categories.
Yeah.
A
lot of them. It's shocking when you look into it.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you're paying this guy all this money, but he's not producing. Right? It's a bad deal.
Yeah.
Okay? And it goes both ways. There's guys that perform that are underpaid, and there's guys that are overpaid that underperform. And that's why it's an unfair system. That there should be I'm not going to say that I have the answers, but it should be incentive-based, performance-based. You essentially, what you're asking for is everyone to perform as if they're in a contract year. Basically,
because
yes.
There's something to that where it's it's a contract year.
You got to go out and earn your pay this year.
What is that? Is that psychological? It happens too frequently where a guy has the greatest year of his career in a contract year. We see it every year.
Well, the NFL is a weird one, too, because you can be cut at any time, and they don't owe you shit.
Right.
That's one of the few leagues that your money's not guaranteed. Well, it's changing now a lot more. This money's getting guaranteed up front.
Yeah. But especially with the contracts you hear about.
For the most part, it's not guaranteed money, and the contracts are not. You can get signed to a 4-year deal and be cut the next day, and they don't owe you a fucking dime.
Yeah, they are doing that. Even for the smaller contracts now, they are guaranteeing.
More and more. It's turning that way.
I know what you mean.
But historically, baseball money, there's still Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yeah.
I mean, Bobby Bonilla is still getting paid, I think, by 2 different teams even.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And he's what, 60?
Yeah. I mean, so that money's guaranteed.
Yeah.
You give these guys this contract. That's why Cabrera's still playing.
Yeah.
Right? He's not good enough to be on that field most days.
Hell
He's not even He's a fucking
dude. I wanted him off the Tigers literally 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, exactly. They were listen. That was a no-win situation when they had to resign.
I mean, you're talking about 2013, 14. It was like, okay, you got to cut bait here. You just do.
That was the smart move, but they couldn't do it.
No, and we're dragging this out now. And yeah, he's got the hits record, or he's got the fucking whatever.
Just think if we were able to give that money to Scherzer and Verlander and not to Cabrera.
Yeah.
Then they were still here, and
oh, it's just a crime that team never won it. It's a crime.
But that's why it's an unfair system, and the money's getting so ridiculous. It's not even real money. I mean, I don't know how it's sustainable, the trajectory that it's on.
Yeah.
All these salaries and the shit that's going on. They say, okay, TV money, it's got to run out at some point. There can't be this much fucking money.
No,
it just can't, and it can't keep going up. I mean, if you look at the curve, the exponential growth that these salaries have had over the last 10 to 15 years.
Do you know what Amazon Prime is paying per game for those?
No. I didn't hear the number.
$1 billion a game.
Well, there you go.
A game.
Yeah, that's why that money's there.
Fact check me on that, but I think it's $1 billion a game.
I believe
that they're playing just to get in the streaming business.
Yeah,
just paying to get in there.
Yep, because just like the Saudis, you got to overpay to get your foot in the door, and then you own it.
Which is why, at some point, don't be shocked if someone doesn't make an offer to buy an NFL franchise and just throw lunacy money at them.
Yeah,
just go fuck it. You can even stay in your market. We own you, though.
Well, exactly right. Because they just like the Clippers example, overpaid at $2 billion. Well, now it's worth $4 billion.
Right.
So did he really overpay? No, he just paid what it was going to be worth in 2 years now. But because these values, I mean, if you look at what this stuff
doesn't
make
sense, though.
They're paying more than $1 billion a year for the rights to 15 Thursday games throughout the season, a season through 2032. So it's not per game; it's $1 billion a year.
I thought there was more than that even. Okay.
The league and the company did not disclose the terms of the November 23rd game, but there are reports Amazon will pay another $50 million for the rights. What's the November 24th game?
Thanksgiving.
Oh, to get the Thanksgiving game. Yeah, there you go, November 24th.
Yep.
Well, they get exclusive rights to the Black Friday game.
Oh.
Can we even say that? So now they're putting a game now on Friday after Thanksgiving.
Why not run these guys in the ground? They don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. Why not? Why? I mean, we're closing in on 7 days a week of pro football.
Sure.
I mean, when you talk about Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Black Friday, Saturday games in the playoffs, Sunday. I mean,
Saturday's even not in the playoffs. Before, the end of the season, they start getting into Saturday games.
Of course,
as soon as college football ends,
yeah,
they take over that Saturday slot.
Fucking madness, dude.
Oh my God! Okay, I don't think anybody's listening anymore, but I enjoyed the shit out of that conversation. To be honest with you,
yeah, so did I. No, that's good. We don't have to always be bitching about other dumb shit. Yeah.
Not one trans story today. God
Hell
bless.
No, and I did have one, but it was the last story of the day. We were never getting there in a million years.
Perfect. I do not like where we're at in sports, even without the Saudi influence. I just don't like where we're at as far as salaries, as far as it's gotten so out of control so fast.
It just,
like I said, I mean, it's to the point where a family of four cannot go to a football game.
No, you can't go to a baseball game, dude.
I mean, you can. Baseball's a little different because there's 81 home games.
Yeah,
they're more affordable.
And there's more free tickets. Everybody kind of knows some of those tickets.
I'm not talking about free tickets. I'm talking about, buying tickets and taking the family down there, right? I mean, so you can get 20, 30. I mean, it depends on how good your team is, where you're at in the season, things like that. What day of the week you want to go. There's a lot of variables to it.
Yeah.
But you can't go to any Lions game.
No. For
less than $100 a ticket.
Yeah. You're creeping in on
so you're
$1,000.
You're $500 to get in the door. By the time you park and get your tickets.
By the way, where are you getting a ticket for $100 to a Lions game?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, dude, you're talking. I looked it up. To get into a Cardinals game in the rafters was $180 a seat.
Yeah,
the fourth level. I didn't even know they had 4 levels. It was $180 a seat. Now, I'm sure you can have a shitty team and tickets are being dumped at whatever.
Right, to some degree.
I was looking at going. I wanted to go to see the Niners, and I believe it's Christmas Day this coming year.
Okay.
Niners Ravens, week 14 or something, right? It's like this could be both teams in a playoff hunt. This could be awesome, and it was like if we got tickets now, right now they were like $200 a seat for middle of the pack seats.
Week 2, Seahawks in town. This is not StubHub, where you're talking secondary market. This is Ticketmaster. Oh, and I take that back because this is these are
all
resale.
the same,
they are
though.
well, it's verified resale tickets.
Right.
Well, they're or verified tickets from the Lions. Anyway, the cheapest seat is $154.
Yeah.
The cheapest ticket that you can buy to go to a game is $154. You fucking tell me how a family of 4 can go to a fucking game that's $600 without fees.
And a lot of people are a family of 5, 3 kids.
Sure, exactly.
Like my family growing up, you're talking about $800 to just take me
to go down to a ball game.
Dad and brother and sister
to go down to a ball game.
Yeah.
Insane.
Couple hours
dude.
on a Sunday afternoon.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
not
just,
getting any better either.
No,
but,
it's unacceptable is
Yeah.
really what it is.
Well, at some point, it's like, okay, we're only focused on the elites of the world. I mean, they're trying to do it with our concerts. They're doing it with our sporting events. And it's like, okay, you know what?
200 if you want to go to
long
Thanksgiving game.
Yeah. As long as you make it available to lowlifes like me on TV, that'll be good enough for me. I don't need to go see the Lions in the playoffs. Maybe my favorite band comes out with a DVD and I can get a copy of that, or they stream something on Netflix and I can see it that way, and I'll live. The days of paying $20 to see almost any band on planet Earth are so dead. And the idea that you're taking a family of 4 to a pro football game for less than $1,000 are a pipe dream.
It's unbelievable.
It's a pipe dream.
Yeah, I've seen this trend coming. I've said this for years that it's just because I've watched this trajectory go on.
Yeah, we've seen it for
10
decades
years
playing
ago.
out.
I was saying this. Like it's not sustainable. These salaries
And
are
it
not
surprises
sustainable.
you none.
No, not at all. But like I said, I just don't understand how this. I mean, it's because here's why. Because it's not real money.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done,
Yeah.
they're numbers.
Yeah.
It's not real money. It's whatever they say it is.
Right.
It's not real money.
It's scarier than ever.
The
dude.
only real money is the fucking $200 a ticket the fans are paying to get in there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Everything else is
there's
bullshit.
salaries that are paid and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, as far as the team being worth $2 billion, $4 billion, $6 billion, you
Yeah.
know. Okay.
Remember when $1 billion was an unattainable? You didn't even talk in numbers like that.
Yeah.
It was like they're asking for $400 million to deal with the border crisis. Like you'd laugh at $400 million.
Yeah.
What are we even talking about it for? $5 billion, you could cure homelessness. That you realize how the numbers they've been throwing around the last 5-6 years are so astronomical. Dude, $1 trillion was not in our vocabulary 10 years ago.
Right.
It wasn't even something where you joked like, oh yeah, someday the world's first trillionaire. We're going to hit that in the next couple of years. You're going to have people worth $1 trillion on this planet, and then you're still going to have 40% of this planet that can't feed a family.
No. I know I said this one before, but to put it in scale, the difference between a million and a billion. 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years.
Yeah.
I mean, let that fucking sink in for a minute. 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years.
How many is 1 trillion seconds? I mean, does it even have a number?
It
Because
does.
it'd be like
Yeah, it does.
120,000
It's-
years.
No, it's like 300 and something years.
Yeah.
I think we did. Looked at it before, but it's. I mean, it's just 1 trillion seconds is 31,688 years. To get to
Yeah.
1 trillion,
Yeah.
it's 31,000 years.
In seconds.
Right. A million is 12 days.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like it's fun because you think about this, but there's no real
Context
concept.
and-
It's just
yeah,
another
yeah,
zero on a piece of paper.
Right.
So there's no real context to it.
Yeah. I remember during the pandemic when I went on that famous date with Nicole, whatever.
Yeah. I'm not even going to say her name.
Yeah, whatever it was. But for some reason, we were talking, Michelle Dion and I were talking about Dan Gilbert. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I'm not familiar with Dan Gilbert. I'm like, he owns the...
Everything.
Yeah, I'm like...
He owns Detroit.
He owns Rock Financial. And then it was like, oh, yeah, I know who that is. And I was like, I think he's worth like $8 billion. And I said, Nicole, how much? What is the net worth of Dan Gilbert? She goes, I don't know. I haven't looked at his bank statement lately. I was like, so I Googled it, and it wasn't $8 billion anymore.
It's 22.1.
Yeah, and then when I looked at it, when I Googled it, and take it for what it is, they also said Vinny Dombrowski was worth $60 million.
Understandable, but
it had him listed at $40 billion, and I was like, how? Like, you act like just going from 8 to 22 billion in a matter of what, a couple of years? Mm-hmm. Are you fucking joking? That's real?
Yeah. Again, that's,
insanity.
It's not real money. It's moving pieces around and acquiring shit. And it's just, I really can't even wrap my head around some of this shit, dude.
You want to do a couple Ask T-Roys? You got it in you?
Oh, I have. Oh, do I have it in me?
All right. Dear T-Roy, my sister.
Okay. You tried.
I know. My sister has been having an affair with a married man.
All right.
When I asked if he was going to leave his wife, she said no, and that was fine with her. I like this chick already.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you.
Gamer.
Yeah. She claims his wife is fat, and they have a son with severe disabilities. And she, my sister, wouldn't want the responsibility of that. Even though I'm sure the boy would stay with his mom, she refers to him, not the son, but the guy
dick.
she's banging, the dick.
cock.
The cock. She refers to him as her honey, and he buys her things. No.
Weird how that works.
That's crazy. She has always been materialistic, so she's hot. Mm-hmm. Clearly is what her sister's saying by not saying it. She stays in contact with him constantly on her iPad and says how much he loves her. I would want to be open and have everyone get to know about my honey instead of sneaking around. When I say I don't believe he loves her, she gets mad and accuses me of being jealous. I also told her that if I loved someone, I'd want to be with him and not communicate via email. Gifts wouldn't make up for that person not being with me, especially if I claim to love him. I was in a relationship with a married man once, but I wasn't happy about it and ended it. Am I off base because I feel the way I do, sneaking around in Maine?
Well, sneaking, I'm thinking that your married man didn't treat you as well as your sister's being treated, would be my guess of why you didn't feel well enough about it and left.
Maybe not as hot as her sister.
It's possible. That's generally how that works. Yeah. It's not often that they're both biscuits, but it does happen. It does happen.
Usually with twins.
Mind your business.
Yeah. Is that kind of a mind your business?
Kind of. I mean, it's not your life. It's your sister. She can sit on whatever dick she wants, whether she wants to,
Does it make her morally bankrupt? Be sleeping with a married guy who's got a fat wife and a broken kid?
I mean, you could argue that she's doing charity work. I mean, that she's doing. She's
be a stretch of an argument, but you could make it.
I mean, listen, he's got a fat wife with a retarded kid. I mean, he's fucking. It's the best thing going for him right now.
Yeah.
So whatever this, and so she's reaping the benefits
for a few fucking gifts on the side.
It's a mutually beneficial arrangement, as far as I'm concerned.
And if she truly means it, like I don't expect him to leave. I don't want to be saddled with this brat.
I don't want to marry this guy. I just want to keep banging him and get stuff out of him.
Yeah, I get nice shit, and all I got to do is sit on his dick once a week.
Yeah,
it's perfect. Mm-hmm. Win-win.
Yeah,
as long as he doesn't fall head over heels.
Of course he is. I'm sure he is.
With the vagine only.
Right.
He's not fucking her for her brilliant mind. Let's be honest.
Believe me, he wants to ditch that fucking moose and get with her.
Yeah.
That's where he wants to be. But he's happy just,
He's getting the best of both worlds. He's got a pig raising a broken kid, and he's got a hot side piece, and all it costs him is a few clothes.
Yeah, so a little extra, if you can afford it, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, the moose has got to know that she's a moose, right?
Yeah.
If you want to keep it together, do your part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold it together.
I mean, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of harsh to hear.
Listen,
in
that's the
such
fucking
words,
reality of the world. I mean, How many times do you see a couple and you're like, what the fuck?
How is that guy? Yeah,
Right.
he's got a side.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Well, because she was probably hot when it started.
Yeah, I guarantee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you expect him to just stay on board with that the whole time? If you're not even going to try, I mean, if it's a glandular issue, okay, we can talk about it. But if you're not even going to put the work in. Besides, she's doing yeoman's work, taking care of the kid.
Yeah, she's busy.
It's she's taken care of, I assume.
On some level,
I don't know. I mean, listen,
probably got a nice minivan.
I think if people wanted to be honest and have these real conversations, people's ego get in the way of shit, and but who's really getting hurt here?
Yeah.
If he's still providing for the family, if he's still doing his things like that,
I see no issues with it.
I'm not advocating it because it's in secrecy. He's doing it behind her back, I'm assuming. Who knows? Maybe the fucking wife knows about it. Was like, do whatever you want to do. As long as the checks keep coming, I don't care. Right?
Smash my funny bone.
It's not funny, is it?
No, it's not at all. Ouch. Sorry. Yeah, no, you've turned me on this one.
Okay.
I was thinking, he's a little morally bankrupt. He's taking advantage of the situation, but it's like it does strike me as kind of a win-win. For a few dollars out of pocket, he doesn't have to tag that moose nearly as much.
Right.
She's got her hands full with the broken kid, and now he's got this side piece going on.
Yeah, I mean, it could
as long as they keep things quiet, this could be a absolute win-win across the board.
I mean, if the wife's not greedy, she's on board with it.
Maybe the wife, if he owned up to it and went, look, let's be honest, you've gotten huge. You're as big as a fucking barn.
You're
It's
lucky.
embarrassing.
You're lucky. I'm still giving it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I could just flat divorce you, hand you a few dollars, and get the fuck out of here, which is where everything in my mind and heart is pulling me.
Exactly.
But I'm sticking around. But you gotta know.
And you're lucky that my side piece is cool with this.
Yeah,
right.
totally
So let's all
cool
just
with
get
this.
on the same page.
She doesn't want anything to do with our fucking kid.
Let's make this all work best for each other.
Yeah.
If you need a little side dick here and there, by all means, go ahead and have it.
Good luck.
Right.
Good luck finding it. But
the irony is that then all of a sudden the guy gets mad. Right. It's okay for him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. She's gonna go.
But then she's getting a little piece of side dick, and then that now crosses the line.
Yeah,
and it's not okay.
What if he's got a problem? Because that the odds. Put this.
Go ahead and say it.
If she's a biggin.
Yeah.
and
She's not
her
upgrading.
words-
She's not upgrading.
Well, I'm just saying the shade of the cock that she's used to might be a little different than he's dealing with currently.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that might be like, really, that's where you went.
And then you finally get back in there. You're like, what the
Jesus
fuck?
Christ!
Where the fuck have
Who
you
blew the
been?
lines?
God damn it!
How many did you take?
Okay. Now you can have a side dick, but he can't be bigger than me.
Yeah. Or Tanner.
Just the color doesn't matter. The size does.
Hey guys, down in my basement, thought of you.
Oh,
That's a little weird.
Okay.
How do you stop the smell from the bodies we both try to hide in our basements? I'm not hiding any bodies in my basement.
Lie.
I'm playing Lego. Okay. All right, I'm back on board.
And I mean LYE. Lie.
Yeah, lie. L-Y-E. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes life is more beautiful than we can understand. Went to Menards today and did not see a single MyPillow, yet they had a Serta ripoff.
Did you save big money?
He did.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Hope he got his 11% rebate too.
Why is that?
Because they take it and they give it, and they take it and they give it.
Really?
So depending on when you're there, you roll the dice on whether you get your 11% rebate.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah. Sometimes they have it, sometimes they don't.
Okay.
Sometimes they have individual rebates on shit. Sometimes it's 11% on everything.
Wasn't
and I tell you
aware of
what,
this.
11%.
There's a lot.
Real money.
Yeah,
you
it
go
is.
out there and spend $200 on something. $20 is $20.
Absolutely. That's your lunch.
It's actually $22 if I want to do the real math.
Exactly. This gentleman, Mike, sent a picture, and it's funny seeing other grown men do Legos. And he's got the Harley. I'm like, I built that. I got the same one. His look pretty good. His Lego
Okay.
skills are on point.
Should we have a Lego off?
We could. He had I noticed in the picture, he had what I think was a Coors Light and then something else. So he's obviously on a Bud Light boycott.
All right.
And then he was working on another Lego. I couldn't see the whole thing, but it was Star Wars based. And I have mad respect for that.
Okay.
Mad respect.
Yeah, you guys can have circle jerk and do Legos together all.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I'm out of Legos right now. It stinks. I'm just lost,
You got to
man.
pace yourself, dude.
I'm
You
just-
you get into it and it's
you
done
know
too
me.
fast. I know. Well,
me.
see, now you're in a lull.
You put out a 14-foot line of blow and you go, it's got to last you all week.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, tomorrow morning I'm going to be right back at knocking on your door. It's just the way I'm built. I can't,
right.
But Football. You guys talking about football? This is from Steve.
Oh man, you knew.
I was like, because every time we have any conversation involving sports, we're like, but most of these people fast forward.
Yeah.
So I do not fast forward through the football talk. And as a native Detroiter, I support the Lions, but that's it for football. I just zone out. Worldwide, though, soccer is number one. Formula is number two. Where American football falls in worldwide popularity, I don't know because I can't imagine caring enough to look it up. I'm with you. And the fact that soccer is number one and Formula is number two could not mean less to me.
Not less at all.
They both suck cock as sports.
Yep.
I played one of them for 12 years.
I do Formula One every day on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I win
don't
everything.
care at all. So I don't give a shit about anything going on in another country outside of America. I just don't. I'm sorry. It doesn't involve me. It's none of my fucking business. Do you? You want to play cricket and squash wherever you are? I don't even know what those are.
Paying attention to the Saudi shit, though, aren't you?
Well, because they're saddle rate. They're
coming for
what do they call that rattle? Saber rattling.
Saber rattling.
At my fucking shit. Yeah, it matters when you start poaching my guys.
Yep.
Don't take my fucking talent. These are Americans. God damn it, they should stay in America.
See, the difference, though, is whereas all these other ones we talked about are individual sports, that cherry picking a few top players is not going to make a league. To put an elite running back behind a shitty offensive line.
What if you just wanted to destroy a nation?
Well,
we're going to pay Patrick Mahomes $1 billion a year to sit in the sidelines wearing a burqa. And you can sit there and be pissy about it. Right. Fuck off.
I'd love to see his fucking wife or girlfriend that twat.
Yeah. All you got to do.
I would actually support that if she was totally bundled up.
Yeah. Patrick, you come over here, sit on the sidelines in your Kansas City Chiefs helmet. Your wife wears a burqa. We'll pay you $1 billion a year.
We're going to pay you $1 billion to just come over and play soccer.
You come over
we don't
here.
have an NFL league yet, but we're going to pay you $1 billion to come over. I'll kick a fucking ball. Fuck yeah.
And they could hire all the NFL cheerleaders and have them on the sidelines in giant fucking head to toe garbage bags, cheering away.
See, football, I feel like on some level is different. Maybe I just want to believe that.
Naivete, sir.
Well, no, because like golf is one thing. Okay, I mean there's a handful of golfers that the Jack Nicklaus, the Tiger Woods of the world, the Arnold Palmers. Okay, that go down in the lore of fucking of history. Besides that, there's been a ton of guys, the Sandy Lyles of the world, that have made a good career and made decent money, But the NFL, okay, I mean, like, these guys are playing. I mean, when it's all said and done, you can have your money, or you can have rings, championships. You can be the Joe Montanas of the world. If you go to the other, you'll never be Joe Montana in Saudi Arabia.
Playing in the SFL?
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll never be Joe Montana playing in the SFL. You might be rich, you might be set for life, and that might be what's most important to you. And to be honest, it probably should be.
Well, most of those guys, when you were a little kid, because we all, especially as little boys, not to be offensive to ladies who want to be boys.
Some of you dykes watch football.
When we were little boys and we played baseball in the wiffle ball, even in the backyard, and you dreamed of pointing and hitting that home run over the fence or scoring that
2
touchdown.
outs, bases loaded, bottom of the ninth.
Jordan, step back. You weren't hoping that you made it to the leagues so that you could be rich. That wasn't what you dreamed of.
No.
If you're being honest, when you were a kid,
you
just wanted to hit the big home run in the pressure moment, and have the adoring fans going shit and throwing roses on the field. You wanted the adulation, you wanted the credit, you wanted the history. It wasn't about, if I hit this home run, I'm going to buy a vet. Like, that's not what you were dreaming of. You were dreaming of holding the trophy and being interviewed. But
that's also naivete, as my man said.
Well,
because at some point now that's when you're in a backyard and you're a kid.
But that's what comes with it.
It does, and then you're in high school, and it becomes, okay, this is my step to college and maybe playing in the pros, and then you get in college, and okay, this is I got a chance, and now I got a chance to get drafted. I could be Isaiah Pacheco and be fucking boner because I got drafted in the 7th round, not knowing you're going to get fucked for life.
Yeah,
and then you're going to get there. Well, at some point, it now becomes your job.
Yes,
and every player in the NFL while wants to maximize the contract. I mean, it wants the most money for what they're doing, right?
Right.
I mean, that's just the way the league is. That's just the way the contracts are. That's what it is, especially now with all the CTEs and everything that's coming out and the longevity of people's careers. They need to get in and get out and get as much money as they can while they're in there. That does not bode well for the NFL.
No, the NFL
doesn't.
No, none of it bodes well for the NFL.
So you may go into it with the best of intentions. I want to be Joe Montana, and in my heart of hearts, I feel like there's more pull there than in those individual sports, right? Because of the team and you've come up with the whole team. You've done this your whole life like that. There's something about it.
Yeah.
And Super Bowls is the goal. There's
I know what you're saying, but money that
trumps everything.
It just does. At some point, everybody's got a number. Where
it's one thing, right? If you're Pacheco, I know it's stupid we keep going back to that, but he's making $1 million a year, right? He's not going to go to Saudi Arabia for $2 million a year.
No.
He's probably not going to go to Saudi Arabia for $5 million a year.
Maybe.
But is he going to go to Saudi Arabia for $20 million a year?
Damn right.
Damn right.
I'll wear a burqa and whatever.
I'll jump on the fucking plane right now.
Praise be to Allah.
So
he'll be fucking staring at Mecca every day doing his 5 prayers.
And you can't even blame it. Like, I didn't even blame Phil for going.
No, Phil's the least
I
of my
don't really
worries.
blame any of them, really. But I mean, it was the best thing Phil ever did for his career.
Yeah, of course. Phil's a gambling addict.
Ironically,
he just got 2 more lifetimes of gambling that he can do now.
Losses. Yeah. Ironically, all these other guys that gambled their futures. Right, because they didn't know. They shunned the PGA. The PGA shunned them.
Yeah.
They said they were banned for life. They could never come back. Right. They rolled those dice to go get that payday, to go fucking play the game that they play. I'm doing the same thing I'm doing, only I'm playing less golf, less fucking travel, less, the schedule, no cuts, guaranteed money, all this kind of stuff. And they're right back in where they started with no harm, no foul, but with huge bank accounts.
Yeah, and sore butts.
Yes.
From the weight of the wallet they're carrying around.
And that is another problem for every other sport. Because every other player is going to see that and go, okay.
I'm not getting fucked like those guys did.
Right. Like, okay, so now I can go knowing that if I do go, there's still a very good chance that I come back.
Yeah.
So it's a very slippery slope.
Sure is. All right, let's wrap it there, team.
All right.
Let's call it a day. Hope you enjoyed the show. A little bit different than our normal, but that's okay.
We're diverse.
We are. We cover lots of things. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of the day. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then.